The diplomatic crossroads. The sterile white corridors of Horizon Prime hummed with anticipation. Zara Voss adjusted her diplomatic corps uniform, her fingers tracing the subtle iridescent patch that marked her rank as senior xenological strategist. The space station hung like a crystalline jewel between contested star systems, a neutral ground where impossible conversations might just become possible. Her dark brown eyes scanned the waiting area, taking in the mix of species gathered for what might be the most critical diplomatic meeting in recent galactic history. Humans were relative newcomers to the interstellar community, and this meeting with the Krell could change everything. Commander Voss, a soft mechanical voice interrupted her thoughts. The station's AI materialized as a holographic projection, its form deliberately neutral, neither fully humanoid nor completely abstract. The Krell delegation has arrived in Docking Bay 7. Zara nodded, her mind racing through potential scenarios. The Krell were an enigma, a species that had remained deliberately isolated, communicating only through highly encrypted quantum transmissions. Their technological capabilities were rumored to be centuries beyond most known civilizations, yet they had never expanded beyond their home system. Something had changed. The diplomatic reception hall was a masterpiece of neutral design. Transparent walls offered a panoramic view of the surrounding space, star fields, and distant nebulae, creating a breathtaking backdrop. Circular seating arrangements allowed for multiple species to communicate without traditional hierarchical positioning. When the Krell delegation entered, the room seemed to grow quieter. Their bodies were unlike anything Zora had seen before. Crystalline structures that shifted and realigned with each movement, light refracting through their translucent forms like living prisms. At the center stood Kalthor, their lead diplomat, a being that seemed to command attention without uttering a single word. Representatives of the Solarian Collective. Kalthor spoke, their voice a harmonious blend of resonant tones that seemed to bypass traditional sound waves and communicate directly with the mind. We come with a proposition that transcends our previous isolation. Zara stepped forward, her training demanding absolute composure. We are prepared to listen, she responded, her own voice steady and clear. The diplomatic dance had begun. Beneath the surface of polite conversation, Zara recognized the undercurrents of something far more significant. The Krell had never sought out diplomatic relations before. Their sudden interest suggested a motivation far more complex than simple curiosity. A holographic display materialized between them, showing intricate star charts and quantum probability matrices. Kalthor's crystalline form shifted, creating subtle patterns that seemed to suggest multiple layers of meaning beyond the visual representation. Your species stands at a crossroads, Kalthor said, and so do we. The statement hung in the air, pregnant with unspoken implications. Zara felt the weight of generations of human explorers, scientists, and diplomats in this moment. Whatever was coming would change everything. Little did she know how profound that change would be. Secrets of the Void. The quantum communication array aboard the diplomatic vessel, Horizon's Promise, pulsed with encrypted data streams. Commander Rorik Strand stood at the secondary command station, his weathered hands moving deftly across holographic interfaces. Unlike traditional diplomatic staff, Strand was a veteran explorer with a reputation for finding solutions where others saw only obstacles. "Decrypt sequence Delta 9, he muttered, watching as complex algorithms danced across the screen. The transmission from the Krell delegation remained partially obscured, tantalizingly incomplete. Zara Voss entered the command center, her diplomatic uniform crisp despite hours of intense negotiations. "Any progress?" she asked, her eyes scanning the encrypted data. Rorik shook his head. "Something's hidden within these transmission layers. It's not just a message, it's a puzzle." The ship drifted near the edge of a stellar nursery, massive gas clouds swirling with nascent star formations. Their current mission was officially diplomatic, but both Zara and Rorik sensed something more profound was taking shape. Kalthor's previous statements echoed in Zora's mind. "Your species stands at a crossroads, and so do we." The words carried a weight that transcended typical diplomatic rhetoric. A sudden alert interrupted their contemplation. The ship's eye, a sophisticated quantum intelligence named NEXUS, projected a holographic warning. Detecting quantum anomaly within transmission matrix. Recommend immediate analysis. Rorik's fingers flew across the interface. It's not just an anomaly. It's a deliberate encryption method we've never seen before. The holographic display began to shift, revealing fragments of data that seemed to defy traditional communication protocols. Star charts merged with genetic sequences, quantum probability matrices intertwining with what appeared to be biological schematics. This isn't just a message, Zara realized, leaning closer. This is a warning. The fragments suggested something monumental. A threat that existed beyond traditional understanding of space, time, and biological evolution. The Krell weren't simply seeking diplomatic relations. They were presenting humanity with a critical challenge. Rorik pulled up additional data layers. Look at these genetic markers. They're showing potential evolutionary pathways, but not just for humans or Krell. Something different. Before they could analyze further, NEXUS interrupted. Incoming quantum transmission from Calthor. Encryption level beyond current computational capabilities. The communication room darkened, holographic projections creating a three-dimensional space that seemed to exist between reality and imagination. Calthor's crystalline form materialized, more substantial than their previous interactions. The convergence approaches, Calthor stated, their voice resonating with multiple harmonic frequencies. Your species must prepare. Zara stepped forward. Prepare for what? The crystalline diplomat's form shifted, creating complex geometric patterns that seemed to contain entire universes within their intricate design. A transformation that will redefine the very concept of intelligent life. Rorik exchanged a quick glance with Zora. Whatever was coming, it was far beyond a simple diplomatic mission. As the transmission began to fade, a final set of coordinates appeared. A remote research outpost located in a region of space, marked by unusual quantum instabilities. An invitation, a challenge, or something else entirely. The horizon's promise altered its course, moving toward the mysterious coordinates. The void of space around them seemed to pulse with anticipation, as if the very fabric of reality was holding its breath. Something fundamental was about to change. The quantum cipher. The research outpost hung like a fragile crystal suspended in the darkness of space. Crystalline structures jutted at impossible angles, defying traditional engineering principles. As the horizon's promise approached, Zaravos felt a strange resonance, something between anticipation and an inexplicable sense of recognition. Structural integrity is unlike anything in our databases, NEXUS reported, holographic analysis spreading across the command center. The facility appears to be simultaneously existing and not existing. Commander Rorik Strand leaned forward, his weathered hands gripping the navigation console. Quantum superposition, he muttered. It's not just a building. It's a living mathematical equation. The landing sequence proved challenging. Traditional docking protocols seemed to dissolve as the ship approached. Zara watched in fascination as the facility's exterior seemed to breathe, shifting and realigning with each moment of their approach. Incoming transmission, NEXUS announced. This time, the communication was different. Less a message and more a complex neural imprint. Calthor's crystalline form materialized, but something was different. The Krell diplomat appeared fragmented, as if multiple versions of themselves existed simultaneously. The cipher is incomplete, Calthor stated, their voice a complex harmonic that seemed to bypass auditory perception and communicate directly with consciousness. Humanity represents the missing variable. Zara exchanged a look with Rorik. Missing variable for what? The facility's interior defied conventional understanding. Rooms existed in multiple states, scientific laboratories that were simultaneously museums, living archives, and computational matrices. Holographic displays showed complex evolutionary pathways, genetic sequences that seemed to dance and mutate with each observation. This isn't just a research station, Rorik discovered, analyzing a particularly complex holographic display. It's a living hypothesis about the nature of intelligent life. Fragments of data revealed a startling possibility. The Krell theory had been studying evolutionary potential across multiple species, searching for something beyond traditional understanding of biological development. A quantum cipher, Kelthor explained, that can unlock potential beyond current comprehension. The facility began to react to their presence. Walls shifted, creating pathways that seemed to anticipate their movements. Holographic displays showed potential futures, branching timelines where humanity and Krell merged into something entirely new. We are not seeking alliance, Kelthor continued. We are seeking completion. A central chamber revealed the heart of the mystery, a massive quantum computational matrix that seemed to pulse with living intelligence. Genetic sequences from multiple species intertwined, human, Krell, and others completely unknown. Zara realized the true nature of their invitation. This wasn't just a diplomatic mission or a research expedition. It was an evolutionary crossroads. What happens if we accept? She asked. Kelthor's response was both terrifying and magnificent. Humanity becomes more than itself, a bridge between what is and what could be. The facility trembled. Quantum probability shifted. Something fundamental was about to change. And they were standing at the precise moment of transformation. Betrayal's shadow. The quantum computational matrix continued to pulse, its intricate networks revealing glimpses of potential futures. But something was wrong. Zara Voss noticed subtle fractures in the holographic displays, deliberate interruptions that suggested external interference. "We're not alone," Commander Rorik Strand muttered, his hand unconsciously moving to the quantum disruptor at his side. NIXUS, the ship's AI, projected a warning. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Unauthorized access attempts identified. Kelthor's crystalline form flickered, momentarily destabilizing. The convergence resistance, they said, their harmonious voice now carrying an edge of tension. They seek to prevent the evolutionary breakthrough. A hidden door materialized, or perhaps it had always been there, waiting to be perceived. Behind it, a group of beings that defied easy categorization began to emerge. Technological augmentations merged with biological forms, creating hybrid entities that seemed to exist between different states of reality. The Stasis Collective, Kelthor explained, guardians of biological stagnation. The lead figure of the Stasis Collective stepped forward, a being whose body seemed constructed from living circuitry and calcified organic matter. Evolution is not a choice. The entity spoke, its voice a mechanical whisper. It is a carefully managed process. Rorik positioned himself protectively near Zora. Managed by whom? The facility around them began to respond to the conflict. Quantum probability matrices shifted, creating defensive configurations. Walls became transparent, then solid, then something in between. Your species represents an unpredictable variable, the Stasis Collective representative continued. Humans and Krell cannot be allowed to merge. The potential is too volatile. Zara realized the true stakes of their mission. This was more than a diplomatic encounter or a scientific exploration. It was a battle for the future of intelligent life itself. Kelthor's form began to fracture, multiple versions of the diplomat appearing simultaneously. The cipher must be completed, they insisted. Humanity's potential cannot be contained. The facility itself seemed to choose sides. Quantum pathways opened and closed, creating strategic advantages that shifted with each moment of conflict. Holographic displays showed potential futures, some of breathtaking beauty, others of complete destruction. "We are not asking for permission," Zora found herself saying, a newfound confidence burning within her. "We are declaring our right to evolve." The Stasis Collective attacked, not with traditional weapons, but with quantum disruption fields that threatened to unmake the very fabric of their existence. Rorik activated the ship's defensive systems, quantum shields creating intricate defensive patterns. The cipher, Kelthor urged, directing Zara's attention to a central computational node. You must complete the sequence. Multiple realities seemed to converge. The research facility, the ship, the beings present, all existed in a state of quantum uncertainty. One choice could reshape everything. Zara approached the computational matrix. Her hand hovered over the activation sequence. The moment of choice had arrived. Convergence. The quantum matrix hummed with anticipation, multiple realities hanging in delicate balance. Zara Voss's hand remained suspended above the activation sequence, the weight of countless potential futures pressing down upon her. Choose wisely, the Stasis Collective's representative warned, its technological organic form pulsing with threatening energy. Some paths are not meant to be traversed. Commander Rorik Strand moved closer to Zara, his voice a steady anchor. Whatever happens, we face it together. Kelthor's crystalline form began to resonate, creating intricate harmonic patterns that seemed to vibrate with the very fabric of existence. The cipher is more than a technological breakthrough, they explained. It is a bridge between what is and what could be. The facility around them became a living manifestation of quantum possibilities. Walls shifted between solid matter and pure energy, holographic displays showing countless potential evolutionary paths for humanity, for the Krelthari, for intelligent life itself. Zara understood now. This was not just a choice between two species or two paths. It was a choice about the fundamental nature of evolution, of consciousness, of potential. The Stasis Collective fears change. Kelthor continued. They believe progress can be controlled, contained, predicted. The Stasis Collective's representative stepped forward, its form a nightmarish fusion of technological precision and biological limitation. Uncontrolled evolution is chaos. Chaos leads to destruction. Rorik challenged them directly. Controlled stagnation is death. The quantum matrix began to pulse more intensely. Zara could see the intricate networks of genetic potential, evolutionary pathways that intertwined like living mathematics. Humans, Krelthari, countless other potential species and forms of consciousness. Her hand moved. As her fingers approached the activation sequence, time itself seemed to fracture. Multiple realities bloomed and collapsed in milliseconds. Potential futures flickered like dying stars. The Stasis Collective attacked, quantum disruption fields attempting to unmake the very possibility of change. But Kelthor's defensive configurations held, creating protective matrices that defied conventional understanding. We are not asking for permission to evolve, Zara declared, her voice resonating with a newfound strength. We are declaring our right to explore our potential. Her fingers touched the matrix. A wave of quantum energy exploded outward, not destructive, but generative, a burst of pure potential that rewrote fundamental rules of biological and technological existence. The facility transformed. The Stasis Collective's representatives found themselves reconfigured, not destroyed, but fundamentally changed. Their rigid understanding of evolution dissolved, replaced by a more fluid, dynamic perspective. Kelthor's form merged and separated, creating a complex dance of possibility. The cipher is complete, they announced. The bridge is built. Rorik watched in awe as genetic and technological boundaries dissolved. Humanity was no longer just human. The Krelthari were no longer just Krelthari. They had become something new, something undefined, something full of infinite potential. What happens now? Zara asked, looking at the transformed space around them. Kelthor's response was both beautiful and terrifying in its simplicity. We become. The void of space outside seemed to breathe with new possibilities. Countless civilizations, known and unknown, felt a subtle shift, a reminder that evolution is not a destination, but a continuous journey of discovery. Zara, Rorik, Kelthor, and the very fabric of reality itself stood at the precipice of an unimaginable transformation. The convergence was complete.